This is another race in which we did see ticket splitting by Georgia voters, where you can see the numbers are different for the GOP candidates at the top. I mean, the governor's race and the Senate race, as well as on the Dem side.
Yeah, and this is a trend in other states that might be normal. In Georgia, it's really not. It used to be years ago, decades ago, but more recently, Georgians have pretty much aligned with one party or the other, at least at the top of the ticket. And in this race, we know polls were detecting it early this summer, that 3, 4, 5% of Kemp supporters were also backing Raphael Warnock. And we see that this poll, there were some predictions from, especially for some analysts saying, oh, when the rubber meets the road, those voters are going to go home. They're going to stay in their lanes. They're going to end up voting Republican or Democrat. But in this case, we saw a significant number of voters split their tickets. And that's why Governor Kemp far outdid Herschel Walker by 4 or 5 points.
Just looking at the numbers, Kemp got about 2.1 million votes, Walker 1.9 million. So there's about 300,000 votes that said Walker's a bridge too far. That I'm not doing. Over on the Dem side, 1.8 million for Stacey Abrams, but her counterpart down in the Senate, Raphael Warnock, got 1.9 million. So there were a lot of folks who were like, she's a bridge too far. It's interesting. Like, Georgia has become more and more purple, and you can kind of see that in the numbers where there's a fair amount, hundreds of thousands of crossover voters for whom party is not everything.
Yeah, there's a few trends there, right? One of them is incumbents, but both the leading vote getters we just talked about are incumbents, so they do have the I by their name, and they have a record. Governor Kemp in particular, the entire election campaign, he rarely talked about what he'd do in a second term. He didn't need to. He could focus on what he did in the first term, whereas Stacey Abrams, she came up with all sorts of proposals, but couldn't point to any record, at least in executive office. She was a state lawmaker before that. And then, there's also the fact that both of them took effort to reach towards the middle. Governor Kemp, no one would ever call him a moderate. He's not. He's conservative. Raphael Warnock ran and won office on a very liberal record and has a liberal voting record. But they've both taken pains to reach new audiences that don't normally align with their parties. So that means for Senator Warnock, it means he talks more about Ted Cruz. He talks more about working with Republicans than he does about working with Joe Biden. And that's also because Joe Biden's approval rating is so low here in Georgia. And Governor Kemp, in 2018, he ran this very rural-centric campaign going to very deep red areas for the most part and kind of neglecting the suburbs and some other audiences that he could have curried favor with. Well, this year, he always had such a commanding lead. He felt like he had the freedom to go and campaign in the suburbs more, go reach Asian American, Indian American, African American audiences that he really didn't spend that much time in 2018 to cater to.
Now we're awaiting results in Arizona and Nevada. And if the GOP manages to win in both of those, then Georgia's less important because we'll know who won. If the Dems manage to win in both of those, then Georgia runoff is less important. But if the GOP gets one of those, then there is going to be every person in the country is going to come to Georgia. And they're going to flood money just like the last time. Yeah. And so you kind of have been through this before. What do you expect? And are you able to sort of do a smart prediction on who is favored? Now, I won't ask you who's going to win it, but who is favored given the dynamics?
Yeah, I'm glad you don't, because who knows who's going to win it, because this race will change 3 or 4 times the next 4 weeks. I can tell you the campaigns are already getting ready. They're already raising money. There's still ads going on in Georgia. Whatever groups were funding ads did not cancel them. So you still turn on the TV and you see anti-Warnock and anti-Walker ads. To me, it's pretty simple. If Senate control is on the line, the race resets pretty much entirely, and it tends to favor Herschel Walker, because a lot of those Republican voters who kind of held their nose or were skeptical of Herschel Walker but still voted for him, or might have even withheld their vote for him, they might be more inclined to go vote if Senate control was on the line, right? If they could say a vote for Herschel Walker was a vote against Joe Biden and a vote for Mitch McConnell to be the next Senate Majority Leader. But if we're talking about, seat 52, if we're talking about just an extra seat, then a lot of those Republicans who aren't that enthusiastic about Herschel Walker for various reasons, whether it be they're concerned about his fitness for office or his background or whatever it might be. It's going to be a lot harder to get them out the week after Thanksgiving to go vote. And I've talked to them, they live in the parts of town, they tend to live in suburban Atlanta. They tend to be more affluent. They tend to be more mainstream conservatives. And so Herschel Walker's campaign has acknowledged that will be a challenge for them as well.
Like many people, I am eating healthier these days, and that is why I love good olive oil. It's a treat, and you need it, so why not get the best? And by good olive oil, the best, I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and the healthiest nutrients when it's fresh from the farm. But that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They're not right from the farm. They can sit on the shelf for many months growing stale. That's why I like my olive oil direct from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a guy named TJ Robinson, also known as the olive oil hunter. When I first tasted TJ's Farm Fresh oils, I was like, this is going to be like a regular oil. What do you mean? What's the difference in olive? Wrong. That is when I realized how important fresh is. You, like me, you will fall in love with their vibrant, delicious flavors. They are delicious on salad, on veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. And as an introduction to his fresh-pressed olive oil club, TJ's willing to send you a full-size bottle, it's worth $39, of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils for just one little dollar to help him cover shipping. Best of all, there's never a commitment to buy anything. You can cancel your membership at any time. So you go and get your free $39 bottle for just $1 in shipping and taste the difference that freshness makes. Go to harvestfreshnow.com, harvestfreshnow.com for a free bottle and pay just that little itty bitty dollar in shipping. harvestfreshnow.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.